Well, Stephen Fitzpatrick is founder and chief executive of the energy supplier OVO. He supports the price cap. And James Kirkup is director of the Social Market Foundation, an independent think tank that campaigns for fair markets. It opposes the cap. Well, Stephen, let me start with you first. Price is the main thing on which people compete, particularly smaller challenger brands like yours. This is going to make your job harder, isn't it?
No, I think that energy companies that focus only on price are doomed to focusing on a very small part of the market that is very active and shops around. At OVO, we're very focused on technology, customer service and sustainability. And we've been able to grow our business very quickly over the past 7 years without overcharging anyone.
But isn't it the case in New Zealand where they introduced something like this? You just had a bunching up of prices towards the top of the cap. You're going to get better value offers taken off the market, aren't you? There will be less competition.
I think probably what's going to happen is that energy companies that are currently reliant on quite a small group of customers, their SVT customers, to make large amounts of profit, they will be hurt by this. And you may see them withdrawing some offers from the market. But what will certainly happen is that new entrants, existing small suppliers, and those that are going to come into the market will fill that void very quickly. So I don't think consumers are going to be in any way harmed by this.
What about the electricity proportion of dual fuel tariffs? Because a lot of the energy companies actually make a loss on supplying electricity. It's a bit of a loss leader, and they make their money on gas supply. I mean, you will see electricity bills go up if gas prices are capped, won't you?
I think the ratio of profits between gas and electricity differs. So, for example, you take British Gas, who have a majority of their customers are gas customers. They have very high gas prices, and it helps them to be more profitable. And the opposite is true of some of the the big six that started off life as electricity-only companies. So I don't think that's an accurate portrayal of how the market will evolve. I think what will happen is you see a price cap on standard variable rates. You're going to see consumers saving hundreds of millions of pounds. You'll see a drive towards differentiation and innovation on dimensions other than price, so for example technology and sustainability and so on. And you're going to see a real catalyst or an embracing of the market by a new sector of consumers that feel that they're maybe now able more to trust the energy market. And so I think it's good news on all fronts.
All right, James, let me bring you at this point. So what do you make of what Stephen said? This is going to be good for innovation and good for a lot of customers.
I first should start out by saying, I wish Stephen really well. And I think, from the perspective of customers, we want a more competitive energy market. We want more entrants coming in, challenging the big six, putting them under more pressure. My concern about an energy cap like this is that actually this will make it harder for Stephen, because what we're talking about is customer engagement. The problem, which Stephen rightly identifies, is that we've got quite a lot of people who don't get involved in the market. They just, for whatever reason, they stay stuck on the same tariff. They pay more than they should because they don't shop around. They don't look around what their options are. Now, we're doing some research at the SMF into this issue, and what we're finding is that actually when government comes along and says, we'll reward you, we'll protect you for being loyal, for sticking with your supplier, some people will say, oh, well, that's okay then. I'll just take that. They become even less likely to shop around and switch. And what we want, what everybody wants, policymakers, regulators, everyone's been talking for years. Chap on your item earlier on was saying, we have unengaged consumers. We want more engaged consumers. And my concern is that this, well-intentioned
Stephen's point is that this is going to get customers engaged.
The evidence that we're collecting at the SMF so far is that, unfortunately, it will mean that people are less likely to engage with the market, unfortunately.
I think evidence has shown over the last 18 years of increase in energy prices that it hasn't been enough for 56%, I read earlier, that claim to have never switched energy suppliers.
Well, hold on, 27% of the market switched between 2012 and 2015, according to the CMA.
And I think the suspicion is that it's a small section of the market that are very engaged and switching very often, whereas the majority of customers are paying very high prices. And I would ask the question of the SMF and also the CMA. They talk about wanting to provide incentives for customers to engage, but that's fine for economics. What it translates to in the real world is higher and higher prices. That's the incentive. And it doesn't work in the real world. People are already paying very high prices, And over the last 18 years, it hasn't worked.
But
and
more
that's where I
people
think
switch energy supplier than mobile phone provider. I mean, should we be capping them as well?
Well, the interesting thing about the mobile phone market is that people tend to re-engage in the mobile phone market every 2 or 3 years when they replace their handset. And I think this is what makes energy a very different case. For the last 18 years, we've had competition, theoretically, and yet it hasn't benefited the majority of customers in the UK. And the regulation that we have had has served the engaged population very well. We have a very active, very dynamic segment of the market, and then another segment of the market where consumers are being exploited. And I think that's the section of the market that regulation should be targeted at. And that's why we welcome this price regulation. In an ideal world, it wouldn't be necessary, but evidence has shown that nothing has changed over nearly 2 decades.
All right, James, very, very briefly, targeting market.
I agree with everything. Everything Steve said there. We should be targeting that unengaged section. I don't think. I think you're probably right. I think offering rewards to switch probably won't work. I think we have to look at some slightly more creative ways of maybe defaulting people into a basket of consumers who would then be auctioned off to the lowest bidder, so that your company
Over
say
12
could.
months? So could I offer a low 12-month price and then put it up later?
I haven't finished writing the paper yet, but I think
right,
it should be easier for you to compete for that business.